Hey guys, my name is Kay Lorraine, and today I would like to do a non-spoiler book review of The Book of Lost Things by John Connolly. So The Book of Lost Things was a book that I finished towards the beginning of this month, and I've just been thinking about it, and it is definitely a book that I need to do a review on because it is one of those books that I just really enjoyed and wanted to say some good things about and maybe recommend that you guys pick it up too. So this book follows a 12-year-old boy named David who has just went through some really rough things in his life so far. His mother recently passed away. He is living in England during World War II, so he's dealing with all of the bombings. And he has also recently moved in with his stepmother and father and then their new baby, and he's just having a really rough time. And on top of that, he's hearing voices coming from the books on his bookshelves, and he's seeing this really creepy crooked man sneaking around his house. And as the story starts to get going, David finds himself tunneling through to this alternate universe where he finds this really creepy, twisted world that really resembles old school fairy tales, but in a very grim and twisted way. And as he journeys through this world, he's trying to find the king who has the Book of Lost Things so he can find his way back into his world and try to find where he belongs. And one of the most beautiful things about this story is it really parallels David's real life with the fairy tale life. And I thought that the way that was written was just brilliant, because even though you're seeing these fairy tales, which a lot of them I recognize, some of them I didn't, they really parallel with the issues that David was dealing with in his real life. And overall it was like this really wonderful look at how to deal with death and just so many of the topics that go along with that. Just to be clear, this should not be mistaken for a children's novel just because the main character is 12 years old. This book is very dark. It is very gory. There are some very heavy themes in it and just so many things that are done in a way to be horrific and make your stomach turn. So I would not recommend this for children just because all of those things are done in a manner to make it very scary and terrifying. Overall, I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. I would highly recommend it, especially if you like fairy tale retellings. This kind of goes back to the classic fairy tales where they do have more of a twisted storyline and the endings aren't necessarily happy. And the characters that are written in this book are really wonderful, and they each serve a very important purpose for David's journey. I enjoyed how there weren't any parts of this book that I felt were irrelevant, and when you got into some of those themes, they were presented in a very dark and horrific manner, but you could still take away something from it that was applicable to David's real universe, not this alternate one. And I thought that the way that that was written was really brilliant, and it just made me really fall in love with John Connolly's writing style. And I hope that he writes books that aren't just horror, because I would be very, very interested to read more of his writing. It was just so beautifully done, and I was just captured by the world. Even though it was not a world that I would ever want to be in, I definitely wanted to read about it, and I just wanted to continue reading the way he writes things. So that is it for this video. I just wanted to make it a really quick review and hopefully entice you to pick it up. I think The Book of Lost Things was just a really wonderful read, and it's definitely up there in one of the best books that I've read so far this year. I was completely blown away with how fantastic it was, and I'm so glad that I ended up picking it up because of a monthly recommendations video from Birth. I'll go ahead and link her channel in the down bar below, but I initially picked it up and bumped it up to the top of my TBR because she spoke so highly of it. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully if you like horror, this is a book that you will check out. If you don't, maybe run far, far away, and as always, stay weird.